Stop trying to fill the void with a job title. A career can't replace your identity. Here's what can. You can't fill an identity void with a job title. I tried. I spent 7 years trying to make HR manager carry the weight that Sergeant Moose used to carry. It never worked. But here's what did work. I stopped trying to replace my military identity with a career. I started building a career that expressed the identity I already discovered. 3 weeks ago, you started this assessment. You've built an identity map, a purpose profile, an energy audit, a values profile, and a strengths inventory. That's enormous. That's an enormous amount of self knowledge. But knowledge without application, it's just journaling. This week, we integrate. We take everything you've discovered and connect it to actual career paths and work environments and the communities where you'll thrive. Today, 6 questions that bridge your inner work to your outer career. By the end, you'll know exactly what your career needs to include for you to feel aligned. Get your journal and your notes from weeks 1 through 3. You'll need them. Let's go. Let me draw a critical distinction that will save you years of frustration. There are two fundamentally different relationships you can have between your career and your identity. Career as identity replacement. This is what most veterans do by default. You lose your military identity and you try to fill the void with a civilian career. You become the project manager or the consultant, the way you used to be the sergeant. The problem? When the career goes through turbulence, layoffs, bad boss, or restructuring, your identity collapses again because it was built on the job, not you. Model 2, career as identity expression. This is what we're building. You know who you are first, your qualities, your purpose, your values, your strengths. Then you find a career that expresses those things. The career becomes a vehicle, not the destination. If the vehicle breaks down, you get a new one. Your identity stays intact because it was never dependent on the job title. Career flows from identity. This is why the 49% statistic exists. Nearly half of veterans end up in the wrong job, not because they picked the wrong industry, but because they picked the job before they knew themselves. They chose a career to replace their identity instead of choosing one to express it. You're not going to make that mistake. You've done 3 weeks of identity work. Now we connect it. We got 6 questions, each one linking your inner discovery to concrete career criteria. Let's integrate. Question 1. How important is it that your daily work directly connects to deeper purpose? Choose one of these. Essential, I can't be fulfilled without this connection. Very important, strongly prefer this alignment. Somewhat important, nice to have, but not required. Not important, I can find purpose outside of work. Pause the video, choose your answer honestly. The strategic purpose behind this question is this single answer determines your entire career strategy. And there's no wrong answer, but there is a wrong assumption. Your answer determines your career strategy, not your career value. If you choose essential, your career is your mission vehicle. You need purpose-driven organizations, roles with direct impact, and work where you can see the difference you make daily. You'll sacrifice salary for meaning, and that's strategically sound for you. The trade-off? You may earn less initially, but you'll sustain longer because burnout from meaninglessness won't be a factor. If you chose very important, you need purpose alignment, but not necessarily purpose immersion. You can work at a company whose mission resonates without every task being purpose driven. A good organization with values you respect satisfies this level. If you chose somewhat important or not important, this is not a failure of purpose. It means you're wired to find purpose outside of work. And that can be through volunteering, coaching, faith community, or family mission. Your career needs to support your purpose life, not be your purpose life. You can optimize for salary, stability, or work life balance without guilt. Whichever you chose, write it at the top of your career criteria list. This is filter number 1. Question 2. What would it look like for your career to be an expression of your core values? Think back to video 8 of last week. You identified your non negotiable values under stress. Now apply them. If your non negotiable was integrity, what does a career built on integrity look like for you? If it was service, what does daily service look like? If it was autonomy, what level of independence does your career need to include? This moves values from abstract to concrete. Last week, you said what you value. This week, you're describing what those values look like in practice, in a daily schedule, in a workplace culture, in a leadership structure. Look, here's a real example. A client's top value was developing others. And when I asked what that looks like in a career, he said, I want to spend at least 30% of my time coaching, mentoring, or teaching someone. If a role doesn't include people development, it fails this test. That's a specification he could now evaluate any job description against. Director of training passes. Data analyst fails. Operations manager with team development responsibility? Well, it depends on the percentage. Write your specification. Make your values concrete enough to evaluate job descriptions against. Question 3. How do you want your professional identity to align with your personal identity? Pause the video. Professional plus personal equals what? Strategic purpose. Some people want their work and personal identities to be completely integrated. They're the same person at work and at home. Others want boundaries. Professional life and personal life are separate domains. Neither is wrong, but knowing which one you need prevents the misery of forced inauthenticity. If you want integration, you need to be able to be your full self at work. Faith, values, personality, communication style, all present. You'll thrive in cultures that encourage authenticity and wither in cultures that demand you leave yourself at the door. If you want boundaries, you need a professional role that doesn't consume your personal identity. Clear work hours defined, responsibilities, and respect for your life outside the office. You'll thrive in structured environments with strong work life separation. If you want to blend, you need a career where core values overlap, but you maintain personal space. Most veterans land here. They want to bring their values to work without work consuming their family life. Question 4. Describe a time when you felt completely in your element, where everything clicked. Time flew, energy was high. You thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Pause the video, describe your element moment. The strategic purpose. Your element moment contains the complete recipe for your ideal career, not just one ingredient, but the entire formula. Let's extract every element from it. What, who, where, why, how. What were you doing? This reveals your ideal activities. Who were you with? This reveals your ideal team and culture. Where were you? This reveals your ideal environment. Why did it feel right? This reveals your purpose alignment. How were you doing it? This reveals your work style. If your element moment was training a new platoon through a complex field exercise, the what is training and facilitation. The who? A small team with high trust. The where is a dynamic environment, not at a desk. The why is developing people. The how is hands on, experiential, high energy. Now extract each element from your story. Each one becomes a career criterion. Question 5. Describe a time when work felt like flow state. Complete absorption. What conditions created that experience? Pause the video. What conditions created flow for you? The strategic purpose. Last week, you identified what activities create flow. This question identifies the conditions around those activities because the same activity can create flow in one environment and frustration in another. Some common flow conditions from veteran responses sound like this: clear objectives with autonomy and how to achieve them, challenge level that matches skill level, not too easy, not impossible, immediate feedback, knowing quickly if your approach is working, sense of control, being able to make decisions and see results, stakes that matter, real consequences, real impact. Notice how that sounds exactly like a well-led military mission? Clear objective, tactical freedom, real-time feedback, real stakes. Your brain is wired for those conditions. Your civilian career needs to replicate them, or you'll feel like you're operating in slow motion. Write your flow conditions. These are non-negotiable environmental requirements. All right, final question today. Describe your ideal workday a couple years from now. What are you doing? Who are you impacting? How do you feel at the end of the day? Pause the video. Describe your ideal future workday in detail. The strategic purpose is this is the most forward looking question in the entire assessment. Everything else has been excavation, mining your past for intelligence. This question is architecture, designing your future for what you've discovered. Here's the framework for answering well. Don't describe a fantasy. Describe a day that aligns with everything that you've written over the last 4 weeks. Ideal day equals identity plus purpose plus energy plus values plus strengths. What time do you start? This reflects your energy patterns. What problems are you solving? This reflects your purpose signal. Who are you interacting with? This reflects your team energy needs. What gives you energy throughout the day? This reflects your flow activities. How do you measure success? This reflects your values definition of success from week 2. What's the pace? This reflects your pressure profile. How do you feel at 6 p.m.? This reflects your work-life integration value. This description is your tactical compass. Every job opportunity should be measured against this vision. The closer a role matches your ideal day, the higher it ranks. All right, 6 answers, 1 career alignment profile. Let's synthesize. From these 6 questions, you now have your purpose connection level, how tightly career must link to deeper purpose, your values specification, what your values look like in daily practice, your identity alignment model, integration, boundaries, or blend, your element extraction, the complete recipe for your peak experience, your flow conditions, the environmental requirements for sustained engagement, and your future vision, the ideal day that integrates everything. Your career line statement should read like this: my career must blank, purpose connection level, connect to my purpose of blank, purpose signal. It must express my values of blank, top 3 values, through blank, values specification. I need blank identity alignment model between my professional and personal identity in an environment with blank flow conditions where my ideal day includes blank key elements from the future vision. Your assignment before the next video: 1. Write your career alignment statement using the template above. This is the document you compare every job opportunity against. 2. Download the Career Identity Alignment Matrix if you haven't already. It's in the description. It maps your statement to actual job categories and industries. 3. Review your notes from weeks 1 through 3. Does your alignment statement honor everything that you've discovered? If something feels off, note it. We'll refine it. Your career is not your identity. It's your identity's vehicle. If the vehicle breaks down, you get a new one. Your identity stays intact. That's the freedom this assessment gives you. You're no longer dependent on a job. to know who you are. You know who you are. Now you're choosing a career that fits. Video 11, we tackle the most overlooked pillar, belonging, because you can have the perfect job aligned with your purpose and still feel empty if you don't have your people. We're going to find your tribe. Now go share this with a veteran who's defined themselves by their job title and panics every time that it's threatened. Shepherd 1 out.
When you are ready, this is the next video. You lost your unit.